I started Six Finger Satellite when I was pretty young, about 19 years old, and very quickly we got signed to Sub Pop Records in Seattle with Nirvana and grunge bands like that. But we were actually a very post-punk band, playing kind of angular guitar music with synthesizers and cowbells. So it was like a lot like what DFA would end up sounding like, actually. I always say DFA is more like a collection of friends or a little family than a record label. When it first started, it was James Murphy started it to put out the first Rapture stuff in my first 12-inch, and I had been friends with James for like 10 years at that point, and from there the label just grew by adding friends, basically, and so to this day it's still, you know, a very close-knit group of people all sort of playing on each other's records and touring in each other's bands and that sort of thing. I would say that the track that most has sort of defined my career or advanced it more than anything else is Happy House. I had released that Happy House as a 12-inch before my last album came out, The Future Will Come, and we chose that track to release first because I hadn't released anything in a few years, and I thought that that was sort of a deeper track that wouldn't be a single from the album, and I could just put it out and sort of get back on the radar again, and I had no idea that it would blow up the way that it did, and it probably became my biggest track that I've ever done, and I feel like everything since then is trying to make something that's as good as that. The electronic music scene in Boston, where I live, is actually pretty small and kind of terrible. And actually, friends of mine, David Day and Amy Grill, made a movie about living in Boston and being into electronic music. It's called Speaking in Code. And it did very well and got worldwide release and did well at some festivals, and the movie is basically about living in Boston and being into electronic music and how hard it is to be into that kind of music living there, because it's such a traditionally sort of rock music town. I always feel like I have sort of an obligation to do videos for songs when I have an album coming out, and I always kind of enjoy making them and being in them as well. I think my most famous video, for better or for worse, is for my song Give Me Every Little Thing, and featured me and my old drummer Jerry Fuchs walking around in our underwear for the entire video, but I always like the process of making them. Right now I'm actually working on sort of more house-oriented side project called Love Acid, and I have a couple of 12 inches with that project coming out on DFA soon, and from there I'm just working on my next album, which will be out at the beginning of next year.